Welcome everybody. My name is Michael, and today we are discussing about crypto criminals. Bitcoin has hit above $30,000 again, actually above 31,500. So a little bit of positivity over the past couple of days. And this crypto criminal is a very young crypto criminal, as most people involved in crypto are usually in their 20s and 30s. This gentleman is from Rhode Island, and he's 25 years old, and he's been sentenced to 42 months in prison, probably half of that with good behavior, who knows. So 42 months in prison for defrauding over 170 people. 170 million, because he stole $5 million. There we go. So his name is Jeremy Spence, and his pseudonym is Coin Signals. Yeah, Coin Signals. So he ran his crypto scam from November 2017 to April 2019. So not even a full 2 years, and in that time frame, over $5 million, which he collected. So if in that time frame, as in the crypto world, everything moves very fast, $5 million, sure, you take out fees and maybe he was exchanging it, whatever. If you take out that money, most likely in the time frame that he was doing this, sure, there was the crypto crash later in 2018, but by the time it started coming back up again, I can only assume that the $5 million maybe turned into $6 or $7 million. Nothing crazy, because again, most of this was done during the crypto crash, so you probably actually lost a lot of money, and then you take out for fees and all that. But later on, everything started to recover a little bit. So maybe this fell apart because of the crypto crash. Maybe it fell apart because he was caught. But he created and was a mini hedge fund manager. That's right. He created not one, but several crypto funds. One of them was called the largest Coin Signals BitMEX Fund, another Coin Signals Alternative Fund, and Coin Signals Long-Term Fund. So these were the three largest. He had a plethora of these, and most of them were collecting big bucks. So Mr. Coin Signals claimed that his trades were doing so well, even during the crash, and they were generating enormous profits. So people would send him money, typical Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, whatever. You send in $1,000, just like BitConnect and Regal Coin, and there was a lot of others, which I kind of forgot at this point. There's thousands of them at this point. You send in $1,000, and you get $1,200 back, maybe $1,500, maybe $2,000, depending on how quickly you'd get it back and what rate you'd get it back at. Some people, if they're extremely gullible, they will continue to invest, or they understand that this is going to fall apart, but they think, well, there's still enough time, and they get greedy. Usually these things go for years if they're a lot more believable, so they have lower percentages, you don't pay off as often, and you have a little bit more time to buy when things start to, hit the fan. So this is typical. We've seen this happen a ton before. Okay, and I see that he's been, oh my God. The reason this didn't even last 2 years is because this is what he promised. Returns guaranteed of more than 148%. I think that's APR. So I think annual 148%, which in the crypto world may not sound as outlandish, considering some people are able to make 500 to 1,000% without any of this legally, just with Bitcoin rising, Ethereum rising back in 2017. But 148% is just, it's crazy. I mean, I've seen scams promise as much as 20,000%, and only the most gullible of people will fall for that. Something more believable was guaranteed 10 to 20%. That's still pretty high compared to everything outside of crypto. That's incredibly high. However, when you look inside of the crypto world, it's not that crazy. I mean, you are able to do that. You are able to actually use these funds and invest it yourself. And if you know what you're doing, you're actually able to make a real life fund. You don't actually have to scam people. You don't have to be a Ponzi scheme. But most of these guys have no idea what they're doing. They're not even investing. They're just taking the money and depositing it straight into their bank account. So 148%. If you were one of the gullible ones, or if you're ever thinking of investing into something that's guaranteeing you whatever, nothing's ever guaranteed. Even 5%, how can you guarantee that? You don't know what's going to happen with the markets. So if you're looking for low risk investments that are long term, look outside of crypto, because crypto is still moderate risk for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and higher risk for altcoins. But if you're looking at the long term for Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's a little bit of risk, but you definitely get better returns than the stock market. If you're looking for a retirement fund, have a little bit of your money in crypto and most of it in stocks and in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, index funds, stuff that you might be able to get 5 to 10%, maybe a little bit more, but on average, some years you might even lose money, but on average it's going to be 7, 8, 10%, somewhere around there, which is still pretty high. That's on a long-term basis. And with crypto, you're also able to invest in funds or just keep it in Bitcoin and whatnot, Bitcoin dollar cost averaging. But with this, anything that you're expecting to double, triple, quadruple, 10x your money, it's massive risk at that point. So, it looks like this guy was actually investing a little bit, and almost every single one of his trades were consistently unprofitable. In fact, over the same period of approximately 1 month where he was getting a lot of money, Spence's trading resulted in net losses in all of the accounts in which he traded investor funds. Oops. It usually helps a little bit if you know what you're doing with trading and you're able to run it for a longer period of time. For like a Bernie Madoff, where you're actually the head of a stock exchange after so many decades of doing it because you're that great. Oh, sure, it fell apart, in 2008. But anyways, eventually it all unraveled. He was lying. He was cooking the books, and he pled guilty. He was arrested in January 2021 by the FBI, and separate charges were filed against him by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC. He pled guilty to the charges against him in November 2021, and in addition to his 42-month jail term, he's going to owe over $2 million in restitution after his release, which I doubt he's ever going to be able to make that amount of money. I doubt most of these people will ever be able to get that money back. He will also have 3 years of supervised release after he's out, so he's going to have to do weekly checkups and all that. So he's going to be out of prison after a couple of years, and he might be able to still turn his life around. But most of these guys, especially if they're abroad, they're not getting caught. This is a rare case where he's actually caught because he was probably very dumb and he was losing a lot of money investing, where others are able to make this run for, a decade, or it gets so big that it falls apart after a year or two. But then we're talking about billions of dollars, not millions. And in many of those cases, people, just like OneCoin, you still have Rija or Raja or whatever her name is, that had a couple $1 billion, supposedly has over 210,000 Bitcoins, and nobody knows where she is. She was actually added to Europol's most wanted list recently, and everyone's looking pretty hard for her. So there's been many cases where really, really smart people, or just really lucky people, have been able to get away with hundreds of millions of dollars, and poof, they disappeared. And at that point, with so much money, if you go to a pretty cheap country, you're able to buy out the land, buy out the law, buy out everything, change your face with plastic surgery, and live the rest of your life on a nice retirement. So that's today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I really love reporting on crypto crime. I find it absolutely fascinating. The amount of scams in crypto is crazy, but in any financial category, you're going to find tons of this stuff. If you're interested in this, I highly advise you to take a look at, I think it's CNBC, American Greed. Absolutely fantastic series. Some of them actually, the recent episodes were on crypto criminals, some of them, but most of them on Ponzi's and pyramid schemes. So stay safe, watch out, and thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.